Hello guys and welcome to today's video. Today, like as we know later today, well slash early tomorrow for the UK, Jake Paul will be fighting Nate Diaz, and I have not done my predictions yet because I just haven't had the time to do the predictions. But I want to take some time now just to talk about how I think the fight ends. So firstly, what I want to do is I want to cover Nate and Jake's past experience in the past fights. So let's start with Jake. Jake is 26. He's 6'1" or 6 foot. It's one of those two. And basically, Jake is coming off of a loss, a decision loss to Tommy Fury from his latest fight, and he wants to use this fight to get some redemption. And he has had beef with Nate Diaz for I think it's around 2 years. It's 1 to 2 years. And he wants to prove himself why he's still a top contender in the scene. So yeah. So with Jake, a lot of stuff has changed since the Tommy camp. He has completely changed coaches. He brought back one of his old coaches, Shane Mosley. He brought him back and he previously trained Jake for like the Gibb fight, for example. He brought him back, and he's really switched his team around, and he's gone for strength, and his camp has mainly now been focused on strength and conditioning, which is a completely different approach that Jake has taken for this fight. As he has mentioned in multiple interviews, he wants to knock out Nate Diaz in this fight. So now let's move across to Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is an MMA fighter. He's quite a legend in MMA. He has a 22-11 record, which I know for a lot of it doesn't sound great, but Nate Diaz has only ever been stopped once in his whole MMA career. And even in his first boxing match, he knows the basic fundamentals due to MMA. And yeah, now I want to talk about the advantages in this fight. And Jake has pretty much everything on Nate Diaz for this fight, and I'll explain why. So firstly, the weight for this fight is 185 pounds. The reason this is a massive advantage for Jake is because usually, pretty much in all of Nate's MMA fights, he usually fights around 155 pounds. For this fight, Nate has had to come up to 185 pounds, which he has never fought at in his life. He has never fought. The highest he's gone is 170. So this is even higher than he normally goes for his fights. Another advantage Jake has is that he has more time in actual boxing, because Nate's mainly does MMA and that. Well, Jake has been doing boxing for sort of 3.5 to 4 years now at this point. So yeah, and as well, right, I feel like in my opinion, Jake's gonna want to win the fight more than Nate Diaz, because Jake's got something to prove while Nate really doesn't. And you could tell this in the press conferences. Nate's just been quiet, like most of the press conferences, and he hasn't cared about promoting the fight. He said that himself. So yeah, there's a lot of things in Jake's favour. But now actually, there's one thing that is in Nate's favour for this fight, and that's the amount of rounds, which this is Jake's first 10-round fight. And the reason this is an advantage for Nate Diaz is because Nate Diaz has extremely good cardio, and he has never had issues with cardio at all in his MMA career. So, and Jake has never gone 10 rounds. The highest he's gone is 8, and he usually gasses out around 5 to 6 rounds. So if Jake's gassed out, Nate Diaz could take over the fight and beat Jake on a decision. So yeah, I think he can 100% beat Jake on a decision, depending on how the early rounds go. But now I want to talk about my prediction, which I do not have this going. I don't think it's into the KO, and I don't think this goes to decision. I think this is going to end in a doctor stoppage around the 5th or 6th round. And now let me explain why I believe this will stop in a doctor stoppage. And you're wondering who this is for. Nate Diaz will have a doctor stoppage, and stoppage which would give Jake the win. And now let me explain why I believe this. So in a lot of Nate's fights, his scar tissue is very sensitive and it is known to bleed a lot. And yes, I know MMA ounce gloves are 4 ounces and the pro boxing gloves are 10 ounces, but still, we know Jake has power in his hands. Jake Paul has knocked down every single opponent he has fought professionally. He has knocked down every single opponent. So, and even though Nate Diaz has an iron jaw, I just think Nate Diaz he's gonna have a lot of damage accumulated on his face, and eventually, from the amount of damage he actually takes from the fight, the doctors will stop the fight, and Jake will be declared the winner. As well, another reason I think this will end in a stoppage is because like even though Nate has great cardio, the thing is Nate Diaz is a slow starter as well. It takes Nate a few rounds, and that's kind of an issue in boxing. You can't be a slow starter because that just means like in a 10-round fight this can be fine for Nate, but he can't take like 4 or 5 rounds to warm up because at that point Jake has 5 rounds on you, and you can't just, and it's very hard to win rounds back. I think Nate Diaz's best way to beat Jake is to come forward and pressure him, which what he likes to do a lot. Nate Diaz needs to come forward and pressure Jake and wear down his cardio, and then as soon as Jake's cardio's gone, Nate goes all out and tries to either finish Jake or get enough points for a round to win on a decision. But I just think in my opinion that this fight is just gonna end in a doctor stoppage and Jake will be declared the winner. And yeah, that's basically all I need to mention. But it's there's a lot going down in the boxing scene right now. I'll probably make another video tomorrow, like either tomorrow or on Monday, talking about everything that's going down.